Here we are yet again. Another Bears loss after the highs of a win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Bears lose yet again. They fall to 2-6. So, whatever. It is what it is. The Bears look atrocious again on prime time. Why did the Bears keep getting scheduled on prime time? I have no clue. The Bears do not deserve to be on prime time, but hey, let's keep giving them the opportunity to be on primetime TV and just embarrass themselves like they typically always do on primetime television. But it's never the case. We keep doing it. But don't worry, we have two more primetime games again. We got a Thursday night game against the Panthers in 2 weeks, and then we got the Minnesota Vikings in prime time in a few weeks. I think in 3 or 4 weeks after that. The Bears play the Chargers. They lose to the Chargers by the score of 30-7. Really just, it's just really bad. Just really bad. Like, it isn't even a or 30-13, my bad. It isn't even a contest. It wasn't a contest from the moment the game kicked. Well, actually, the game looked like it could be maybe, all right, good. You catch them by surprise. Badgett throws a deep pass. Why the referees mark Darnell Mooney down, I have no clue. Again, why did Matt Eberflus not challenge that play? A smart coach, he gets up, he throws the challenge flag, and he says, hey, my plan, he wasn't down by contact. Keep it up. Remember a few years back when we played the Rams in SoFi, the Bears forgot to touch a Rams player, and I believe he ran for a touchdown because they didn't touch him. The Chargers essentially do the same thing and guess what? A few plays later, 3 and out. Basically right then and there. It was just absolutely bad. Just absolutely bad. The Tyson Bagent homers who were clamoring for Tyson Bagent to be a starting quarterback and be the guy that I guess is the next Brock Purdy that they claim to be, and be the guy that they say, okay, he's got better traits in some cases than Justin Fields. Well, they have to eat their words. They have to eat their crow because Tyson Bagent looked basically like a backup quarterback, a backup rookie quarterback. He got intercepted 2 times. There was some questionable decision making on his part. He didn't really overall play a good game, much of anything. Now, obviously, the play calling didn't really help him out. But regardless, he didn't do himself any favors. He threw on the edges at some point. The Chargers just sat on that and they just started picking him off, basically. But whatever, it kind of is what it is. At the end of the day, we just have to wait till Justin Fields gets back. And the Bears have a lot of questions they got to answer for themselves. Again, I think at the end of the day, we know this is another lame duck year, another lame duck season that is the Chicago Bears. And the only thing you can probably say that Bear fans are honestly looking forward to is the season ending, and hopefully it ends with the firing of Matt Eberflus and his coaching staff. Again, I don't know why this team, for some odd reason, does not show up or act as if they're ready to play football games on a week-to-week basis. I have absolutely no clue. It seems after wins, so far, it seems after the 2 wins they've had, they look ill-prepared to come out and be ready to play a football game. Remember, they laissez-faire themselves around against the Vikings game after they had a good, 7 or 10 days off. This game is a primetime game. Sunday Night Football. You came off a solid win against the Raiders. Okay, let's freaking take the next step. Let's go out there, let's have a great game, and let's go beat the Chargers, who, mind you, they're very mid. They are very mid. But no, we don't want to take the next steps. We don't want to come prepared to play, and it shows just basically from the jump. Defensively, it definitely did, because in the first half, defense really did absolutely nothing. They couldn't tackle. They didn't want to freaking cause turnovers, but mostly they just weren't tackling. I couldn't count you how many times I saw the defense missed tackle after tackle after tackle after tackle after tackle. Inexcusable. One of those missed tackles ended up being a touchdown at the end of the first half for the Chargers. And who was that came by? Tyreek Stevenson. He also had another PI in this game. Again, I question the fact. Why is he playing? All the time I watch Tyreek Stevenson play, he can't tackle, nor can he freaking pass defend well. He's always getting called for PIs. And on top of it, he keeps getting picked on by opposing quarterbacks. When is enough is enough? When are they going to just take him out, say, hey, son, come over here. You're going to take a seat on the bench. Right now, we just got to play somebody better because right now, teams are going at you and you cannot back it up and you cannot step it up. We have not seen him take the next step. We have not seen him make the necessary adjustments to counteract teams picking on him. I understand he's a rookie cornerback in this league, but guess what? It's either you get picked on continuously and a coaching staff does nothing and they keep letting it happen, or at some point, the coaching staff needs to get involved, say, hey, come here, Tyreek. Take a seat on the bench. We love you. You got talent. Right now, you're not giving us the production. You're not giving us the production we need from you. You're getting picked on, and it's consistently happening every single week. Every single week, they keep picking on Tyreek Stevenson. I barely see them target Jalen Johnson's way, which is another reason why, hey, he's doing his job. Another reason why you probably should pay him, Ryan Poles. But Ryan Poles wants to go on the radio shows like, well, you see, we got to really match numbers and things like that, you know. Again, taking this cheap approach mindset that you can't pay your homegrown talent. Sometimes you got to overpay a bit. But I digress. Sometimes you got to pay your players that are really good players that are doing their jobs that guess what? Hey, maybe you're just not doing your job. And again, I don't know, but it sounds like the way they're going to let frickin' Jalen Johnson walk up out of the building. Another terrible decision by Ryan Poles there, but whatever, okay. We're going to have Tyreek Stevenson over here, another Ryan Poles draft pick, keep getting picked on, keep getting burned, and yet the coaching staff doesn't want to do anything about that, doesn't want to get involved and say, hey, go take a seat. You're getting picked on. Simple as that. That's all they have to do. And if Tyreek Stevenson is going to get his feelings hurt, well, then too bad. Maybe he doesn't understand what he's seen on film. Because what I see on the TV screen is he's continuously getting picked on, and there's not a damn thing he can do to stop it. A, either he plays better, or B, you need to tell him to take a seat and tell him, go watch the guy in front of you, go watch Jalen Johnson, go watch the film on yourself. See what you can do to make yourself better. But no, he's not. Tyreek Stevenson, for all intents and purposes, won't get benched because this coaching staff plays politics. They don't get benched. Like, AKA the example, running backs wise, going back to the offense. Felt like to me, we didn't run the ball as much in this game like we did against the freaking Raiders. And I said last week in the post-game show, I think the Bears need to have this power running formula where you kill clock, you keep Justin Herbert off the field, and you keep running the ball. Tyson Bagent, do just enough to where you're not putting the ball in harm's way and you're not creating freaking interceptions and turning the ball over and things like that, and then we're good. But for some odd reason, Luke Getsy wants to continuously pass because he got his jaw dropped freaking absolutely crazy after Tyson Bagent had a solid performance last week. And then this week, he's thinking, okay, let's now be the pass-happy team we are. See what happens when we go against the grain. Again, Luke Getsy always takes his approach of the fact like, oh, hey, we did this really well. You want to know why you did it really well? You want to know why you passed the ball well? Because you established a running game that set up your pass. Didn't really see much play action passing in this game. We went back to drop back passing. You see where I'm getting this here now? So basically, Tyson Bagent got the Justin Fields treatment in this game. After one good game, when you do everything right, the play action, the under center, the committing to the run, it helps your offense. It makes the offense flow a lot better. But then when you want to start dropping back and being a drop back passing offense, when we're not at that point yet, you see why the offense has the issues it has. And that is a reflection of your offensive play caller. He gets so greedy because 1 week they do all the right things. And he's like, okay, we can do this now. And it's, let's be a drop back passing offense now. Let's completely ignore the run. You see why the offense struggled in this game. Because Luke Getsy wants to elect to be a drop back passing offense because he thinks he has Aaron Rodgers back there. Hey, numbskull, you don't have Aaron Rodgers anymore. You can't drop back freaking 40 plus times because you have Aaron Rodgers. Another thing that also was politics. I love Roschon Johnson. I do. But why did Roschon Johnson get a lot of carries this game? Let me go look at the box score. Let me look at the box score. Because I know for a fact, Roschon Johnson had a lot of damn carries this damn football game. Box score. Roschon Johnson had 6 carries today for 21 yards. What are we doing here? He's coming off a concussion. Yet we're only going to give the ball to D'Onta Foreman 9 times for 34 yards. And D'Onta Foreman, in those 9 carries, a few of them, he actually broke loose for some of them. But we don't want to give him the ball more. We want to keep giving the ball to Roschon Johnson. Okay. But D'Onta Foreman showed that he earned getting a bulk of the carries. So, hey, when we know Khalil Herbert comes back, we already know what's going to happen. D'Onta Foreman's going to be inactive again, and then your 2 lead backs will be Herbert and Roschon Johnson. Because this team, this coaching staff, they don't care about results. They don't care about what you do. They care about the name. Okay, Roschon Johnson, yeah, all right, insert him back in. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So, yes, we go back to targeting DJ Moore less than 4 or 5 times a game. He has only 4 receptions. He had 6 targets but 4 receptions. So he's not targeted yet again. So I'm going to hear all over the radio again, why has DJ Moore not been targeted? I don't give a crap. Again, I will continuously say, I don't care what the play call is. DJ Moore should be the number 1 option every single time you go before you get to your next read. And if not, he should be in the route play you call the number 1 read you make. Coaching staff is too blind to realize that. Luke Getsy is too stupid to realize that. Offensive line got basically blown the hell up. Again, Cody Whitehair, Lucas Patrick, whatever. Why are they still on this team? Why do they still have starting jobs? Politics. That's why. Obviously, I think the last thing, obviously, offensively, before I get a little bit to the defense to an extent, before I kind of close it out, really here, is Velus Jones Jr. Just why? 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 What does Velus Jones Jr. have over this coaching staff to keep insisting him on playing him? Is it because he's a Ryan Poles guy? And Ryan Poles, since we know Ryan Poles has a saying who is active and who is not active, is it Ryan Poles saying we need to activate him to see what we can get out of him? Is it the coaching staff saying we need to activate him to see what we can get out of him? Because again, I am completely right again when it comes to Velus Jones Jr. You go back to my 2022 NFL draft video, I was shocked at the fact that they took Velus Jones in the 3rd round at that high of a pick. When basically he was a 5 to 6 year guy in college, basically a gadget guy, and they tried to turn him into the next Tyreek Hill because he has speed. He's fast. Well, that speed and fastness he has to his game only is productive if he gets the ball in his hands and he's being productive. But when he's not being productive and he consistently and continuously keeps making repeated mistakes, you then scratch your head wondering, what the hell is this? What's going on? Are they just feeling bad for the guy? Are they playing politics? Or is it because the guys up top, aka Ryan Poles, is forcing Velus Jones Jr. to play these football games? And maybe the coaching staff wants to be like, no, we can't activate him. But Ryan Poles is no, since he has a say in who's active and who's not. Because remember, a few weeks back, it was said, hey, he's a guy that plays a role in who's activating guys or not. So now we got our GM active, honestly, getting more hands approach in terms of the game plan approach. If Ryan Poles wants to be a coach, he should have signed up to be the coach for the Bears, not a GM. But Velus Jones Jr., the Velus Jones Jr. experiment, and I've said this multiple times, not only last season, but even this season. The Velus Jones Jr. experience needs to die. No mas. No more. It's over. Done. Goodbye. See you later. Velus Jones needs to be cut first thing in the morning. I don't give a crap if he's your guy, Ryan Poles. You have to cut him first thing in the morning. He's had too many mistakes in only 2 seasons of his NFL career. And he was taken this high, and he is a colossal bust. Right now, Velus Jones Jr., with the other bust decisions Ryan Poles have made in his 2 years as the GM for the Chicago Bears, I don't give a rat's ass. Velus Jones Jr. is the biggest bust Ryan Poles has ever made in terms of a move. The biggest one out of them all. Because he had that much confidence to take him that high in the draft. Right now, Velus Jones Jr. is playing on the level of a practice squad player, aka basically a 7th round draft pick. He has one play in this game where because they can't find anywhere to put him. So they're putting him basically anywhere they can get him on the field. He doesn't know the simple fundamentals of when a receiver fair catches or a punt returner fair catches a ball, you cannot touch him. What does Velus Jones Jr. do? He touches him and he interferes with him. That's a flag, a penalty. Second mishap, which just made me completely just be like, why is he here? Why is he on the roster right now? Tyson Bagent, although the ball was slightly bad and underthrown, it's still a wide open pass. For some odd reason, the Chargers fell asleep on defense. Let Velus Jones Jr., for some odd reason, yes, let this fast gadget guy that you know he's probably going to get the ball thrown to go right past him. He is wide open in the end zone. This dumbass somehow falls over, trips over his own feet, falls down, and drops the damn ball. And even though he fell down, the ball still went into his chest, and he still couldn't catch it. That's a walk-in touchdown, or basically right there, if he doesn't even trip over himself. That's when you know the lights are too bright for this kid. He doesn't know what he's doing. Shit, he's not even a kid. He's a grown-ass man. He's 25 going on he's probably 25, 26 right now. That's when you know this moment is too bright for him. He is not a guy that is an NFL football player. There's a reason why he was at USC for like 4 or 5 years, and then he transferred to Tennessee. Because USC saw, this guy's nothing special. And then Tennessee, the 1 year, his last season, he had a breakout season. You then want to draft him because of that. When is the Velus Jones Jr. experience going to end? When is that going to end? When is Ryan Poles going to finally admit that he was wrong about Velus Jones Jr.? Here's one thing you do. A, you either inactivate him every single way going forward and make him be a healthy scratch, like, say, a Demeek Robinson was today, another Ryan Poles failure of a draft pick, or A, or B, you just cut him outright and you release him. Because right now, I think there's a better wide receiver on the practice squad that could potentially do more. It's not like he's not doing much of anything. Not much of doing anything. All he does is the occasional offensive series or offensive play, or then he doesn't return kickoff returns. You can put Taylor back there. Simple as that. So I'm done with the Velus Jones Jr. experiment. That has to die. It has to die, plain and simple. Absolute embarrassing from the Bears to keep giving this guy opportunities, and he keeps falling flat on his ass. Pun entirely intended. And he doesn't show up when he gets that set opportunity. He blows those opportunities. And the front office and the coaching staff, they just keep letting it happen. They don't sit him down. It's just like I said with Tyreek Stevenson. Bench him. But the only difference with Velus Jones is you've already seen it enough. Cut him first thing in the morning. He should be released from the Chicago Bears first thing in the morning. But the Bears won't do that because they're not cutthroat like that. They want to hold people's hands. They don't want to hold them accountable. They want to hold these players by their hands and be like, it's okay, it's okay. We won't get on you for that. We understand you fell on your ass and you dropped that pass, but it's okay. We still ended up scoring the touchdown regardless of the drive. Even though you could have saved yourself some time and then just had got the touchdown earlier. You didn't have to kill a lot more clock. Defensively, the defense was just garbage. Obviously, Eberflus' play calling is stupid. Sit back in his own defense and just let the Chargers pick me apart. Go right ahead. And then when we want to start teeing off on Justin Herbert, game's practically over. Again, Eberflus is too damn stubborn to realize his front four cannot generate a pass rush. So why are we going to sit back in the zone? I'd rather just be 100% man defense right now, and I don't give a shit. If you get beat over the top because you're in man defense, who the hell cares? You can't get it. You can't get any pressure. Blitz. There should be blitzing every single time. I don't care. We watched Brian Flores when they played us. He blitzed damn near 72% of the time. Why can't we blitz him? Oh, wait. It goes against our philosophy. My philosophy is sit back in the cover two and freaking hope our front four gets home, even though it's not happening. But no, okay. Let's keep getting picked apart. Now, surely you like getting picked apart with these short crossing routes, and then you get beat on these hitches because your DBs are like 10 yards back off the ball. Cool. All right, fine, sure. Keep letting it happen and keep being blind to this stupid ignorance that this front four cannot generate a damn fast rush to save their damn life. Again, another reason why this coaching staff needs to be fired. Their coaching staff, it should be obvious at this point in the season. You're 7 weeks in, going into week 8. You're still doing the same crap you always consistently do. I would think against a quarterback that is on the Pro Bowl level of a Justin Herbert, you should probably start blitzing. Let's not sit back in a zone defense. Let's make him uncomfortable. You're not playing Brian Hoyer this week. Nothing else to say. Really nothing else to say. Only other thing I got to say is the penalties are just, it just really goes to show you how undisciplined this team is and how much this coaching staff does not hold these players accountable. Let's look at the stats for penalties. The Bears had 7 penalties for 53 yards, while the Chargers only had a measly 2 for 15 yards. Penalties, 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 penalties. Last year, the Bears were one of the least penalized team in the league. This year, I can't even count. They're probably one of the most penalized teams in the league. That goes to show you how undisciplined this team is. That goes to show you that Matt Eberflus and his coaching staff are not doing their jobs. They are not doing their jobs in terms of holding these players accountable. You got a false start penalty? Get the fuck out. Shit, before the fourth quarter started, the refs bailed us out. But the Bears, you had two offensive linemen have a false start. Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum. End of the quarter. That's simple. You're trying to get the team to jump off sides to hopefully get a first down before you go into the final quarter or to the next quarter. You had two offensive linemen jump early first for a potential false start. That's undisciplined. That's being undisciplined. That's not having your players prepared. And do the Bears coaching staff hold these players accountable? No. Matt Eberflus should be in the press conference and say 7 penalties for 53 yards is unacceptable. My whole philosophy is making sure we do not have penalties. That has to be corrected, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this right now. And I'm just going to make a message to the players that penalties need to stop. Otherwise, they will be taken out. But Eberflus doesn't want to hold players accountable. He doesn't want to call them out. He doesn't want to tell them, hey, you got to do their jobs. They just got to do their jobs. And if when I want to watch Eberflus' press conference, and if he gets a question asked about Velus Jones Jr., I hope he is cutthroat with that and say, hey, no, that can't happen. He's got to make that catch. He can't fall over. He's got to make that catch. He also can't interfere with a punt returner when, hey, he calls for the fair catch. That's unacceptable. We have to correct that as a coaching staff. He has to correct that, and we'll handle that internally. Simple as that. Simple as that. It's an absolute joke, man. It's an absolute joke. You know, the offensive line is bad. The trenches are bad. It's bad. Like, even on the first drive, Cody Whitehair gets blown up by Joey Bosa, which ends the drive right then and there in that first drive for the Bears. And it's like, why the hell is Cody Whitehair still playing? You know, Lucas Patrick, he has back-to-back penalties, hands to the face, and then he has a holding penalty. Like, you're telling me you can't give the opportunity to Doug Kramer or Dan Feeney to be the center? You're telling me you can't move Tevin Jenkins back to left guard and put Terry Carter at right guard? But no, politics. Cody Whitehair is getting paid a lot of money. We can't bench him. Lucas Patrick is a Ryan Poles guy. We can't bench him. It's time and time again I say, this Bears team is playing worse than the team from last season. I'm honestly convinced the team from last season with lesser talent could beat this team straight up in a game, and they have more talent. This is a laughingstock of a team. A team that, again, time and time again, I'll repeat on these game recaps. We were hyped up. We were led to believe that this team can take the next step. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff, but they could potentially be a team that wins 5, 6, 7 games. They just missed the playoffs. But you see the growth that they have. And this team this team for sure has regressed beyond belief. And they've taken a step back. You're 2-6 now. You're gonna have a high first round draft pick, but now you're not the first round pick anymore. The Cardinals are. If you don't know what's going on in the NFL, for some odd reason, the Houston Texans, they did us a favor last year to get the first round pick. They couldn't do us a favor this Sunday afternoon because they couldn't beat the goddamn 0-6 Carolina Panthers. So now the Panthers are officially the second round pick. If the Bears have any aspirations of taking a quarterback, and it's going to potentially be Caleb Williams, well, that is possibly in jeopardy now, because now the Carolina Panthers have won a game. Now you have to hope Cardinals win a game somehow, or you just wait that the Panthers essentially lose out. Because at some point, the Cardinals are going to have a bye week, unless they've already had it already. Because right now the Panthers are 1-6, the Cardinals are 1-7. So, unless the Panthers lose out, that's basically it. But the Bears will still have a high draft pick. And then two, it doesn't get better because also two other in-division rivals, the Packers and the Vikings, they're probably going to be bad teams as well, which makes me frustrated we couldn't beat the goddamn Green Bay Packers. You see how the Packers are fumbling around themselves? Jordan Love looks like a scrub. That team looks like a complete mess. But the Bears, week one, they don't prepare for the Packers. They get blown out by the Packers, making the Packers look like goddamn world beaters. Look at the Packers now. They're 2-6. They're terrible. So they could have a high draft pick. The Vikings just lost Kirk Cousins to an Achilles injury. They potentially could have a high draft pick too. Because now they're starting quarterbacks out. Justin Jefferson's out. And now they got to go to whatever backup they got left. Wonderful. So now, because you can't take advantage of how weak your division is, and you can't take the next step, and you're going to have a high draft pick. Now, your two of your opposing rivals potentially could have a high draft pick because they are also bad. Absolute embarrassing. Absolute embarrassment. But whatever. We'll be here next week when the Bears lose to the frickin' New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Don't know if Tyson Bagent will still be the starter by then, but we'll see. Again, you know, this issue is just more than just the quarterback. This issue is more than the quarterback. It's the offensive line, it's the defensive line. It's just the Bears, they want to get any better. They got to improve in the trenches. And Ryan Poles has to do a better job at that. Hey, he has not addressed those needs. He's focused on getting skill guys. Well, guess what, dude? Somebody needs to tell this numbskull, hey, you need to build in the trenches. Get the best premier talent at that freaking position in the trenches. Otherwise, why are you here? Again, he played offensive line in the NFL. You should know the seriousness that the offensive line needs to be. He came from the Kansas City Chiefs. You saw what happened to them in the Super Bowl. They got basically butt beat down. Their offensive line against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Super Bowl. What do they do the next season? They do everything in their in their resources. Build an offensive line. And they did that for Patrick Mahomes. And that made his life easier. And that's why they went and won the Super Bowl. Simple as that. But, nope. GM wants to always ignore the issues we have with the team. Dude should do whatever he wants, but it's all right, fine. Whatever. So, it is what it is. This issue is much more than just the quarterback, and this team's just got to get better. No, I'm not even going to say this team has to get better. I just need this damn season to be over with to see the changes that need to be made. It's simple. I think Bear fans in unison have said Matt Eberflus needs to be fired. Whatever the hell's going on with Michigan, lure Jim Harbaugh away from Michigan, have him be the new head coach for the Chicago Bears. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. Because whatever's going on in Michigan, it seems like Michigan wants to force Jim Harbaugh out of the program. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. Don't know why they would want to do that because, hey, he's basically making the Michigan program, getting it back up to prominence after it was basically in the bottom barrels of college football. And he's beating Ohio State now, and he's the number 2 team in the country. But Michigan wants to force him out. So you fire Matt Eberflus, you go take him over here, you go call him over and be like, I don't care what it takes. You're the new head coach of the Bears. What type of money you want? Speaking of, he's good friends with Kevin Warren, and we saw Kevin Warren signing, and he did not look too pleased. Now, obviously, people are going to blow out and say, oh, he was taking notes or whatever, but I could tell on his face he did not look too pleased about what he was seeing. He also had a Ryan Poles appearance, but for some reason, he's just sitting back just like this, God knows, got freaking earbuds in his ear. Whatever, but okay, so what? Whatever, I'm done. Anyways, I'll be back next week. Hopefully, my Uncle Gerald will join. There's some stuff going on in Germany for him that he hasn't been able to get the last 2 game recaps, but whatever. It is what it is at the end of the day. The Bears have just absolutely been pitiful, and we'll see where this team goes going forward. But I'm gonna get up here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, as well as the subscribe button if you want to get more Chicago Bears content, as well as any other sports content uploaded to the channel. Till then, guys, peace.